Good Housekeeping, Volume 33, Year 1901. A Maid Servant's Life in New Orleans by Etta H. Probably what I have to say about domestic service in New Orleans does not apply to any other city, as we have such a cosmopolitan population. May I give a page from my own experience? I was thrown on my own resources at the age of 16, and having read of the advantage of domestic service over factory work, resolved to try it. I obtained a situation as housemaid in a good Christian family. This home was composed of an old gentleman, a widowed daughter, and a bachelor son. I received the sum of $10 per month and was required to clean and keep in order all upstairs and a parlor and sitting room downstairs. They also employed a cook, a washerwoman, and a gardener. I had one evening to myself after 3 o'clock, Thursday, and went out several nights in a week. As will be seen, I had many advantages not given as a rule to servants, but I became dissatisfied. I was ambitious, and the word servant galled me. My father had been a first-class machinist and engineer, earning $100 and sometimes $150 per month. I had many friends, some of whom thought I demeaned myself working as a servant. I think the chief objection we have to that word is that down here colored girls are generally employed as help, and although they are almost always ignorant and incompetent, still they have a contempt of a white girl or woman working in a position they could fill. Although the white person is enabled by reason of her education and home environment to give more satisfaction to her employers. I stayed 1 year in that position, however, and then left and went into a store where I received $3 per week, out of which I had to pay my board. But I was independent now and a sales lady, so I was happy. When I look back now, I see that one of the great reasons why young women do not like to enter service is the fact that their work seems never done, whereas a sales girl or even a factory girl has stated hours, and when 6 o'clock comes, her work is done for the day, and her time her own. The wages paid to a cook vary with the duties required of her and the number of people in the family she cooks for. Some cooks receive as much as $18 a month. An average cook will receive $12, while the lowest wages I ever heard of a cook receiving was that of an Irish girl who cooked for a family of 3 and received $8 per month. In a family where only one girl is employed, the wages run from $10 to $15 a month. In this case, the mistress of the house usually helps with the work, or has the children set the table, make their own beds, etc. One evening a week is generally demanded, and every other Sunday afternoon. In the November 1900 number of Good Housekeeping, I noticed a very good article on housemaids. The writers started out with declaring it is poor economy to employ any kind of nurse girl just because they do not ask much. I have in mind a family of my acquaintance who have one little boy of about 3 years. This child has had about 2, sometimes 3 different nurses every month. In consequence, he is almost unmanageable. The child is not naturally of bad disposition, but before he has a chance to get Used to one nurse, she goes, and someone else takes her place. Now why is this? The parents treat the nurse well, but they quite ignore the fact that she would like a few hours each week to herself. From morning until night, she is supposed to amuse and care for the baby, and when night comes after baby is asleep, usually around 9 o'clock, the milk must be sterilized, which takes 40 minutes, and after the milk is cooled and put away, the sterilizer dried and put in its place, the nurse is allowed to go to bed. This happens every night, and it is often 10:30 before she can retire. The work in this place is not hard, but the hours are so unreasonable that the mistress can get no one who will submit to such a lift of slavery. Not one evening off, not one Sunday afternoon. Reader, would you live a life like that? This place pays $10 a month. Domestic service of any kind includes board and a room. Of course, a girl can save money in this way, but in New Orleans, the N, first as a slave and then as a servant, has held these positions so long that it will be many years yet before domestic service is recognized as a dignified and honorable means of livelihood for white girls. There's always an opening for a girl who wishes to go into service to do so, but the girls are going into factories and restaurants, or if they are capable, into the stores. And the cry goes up for more and better trained servants. About coachmen, butlers, and men servants I am not so well informed, but in this, as in other things, colored men are usually employed. They receive from $20 to $30 a month, including board. Perhaps someday the mistress of the home will learn the golden rule and the hired help, those beautiful lines by George Herbert. Who sweeps a room as by the laws makes that and the action fine. And we shall have settled forever the vexing question from each side. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.